Bronson's book starts from the proposition that the early 2010s marked what he calls the start of a great renaissance of public shaming, and argues that contemporary instances of Twitter backlash against both celebrities and ordinary people can be likened to historical practices of public punishment, such as the stocks. Bronson's discussion of Libonian crowd psychology is complex. On the face of it, it is primarily critical. Drawing on an interview with the psychologist Stephen Riker, Bronson foregrounds the manner in which what might initially appear as unified, frenzied Twitter mobs are, in fact, always infinitely diverse. He writes that, for Gustave Le Bon, a crowd was just a great ideology-free explosion of madness, a single blob of violent colour without variation, but that wasn't Twitter. Twitter did not speak with one voice. Bronson highlights that in any instance of Twitter backlash, people's particular...
Look at that stock photography right there.
Yeah, that's all story. I recognize all of this, but
would be funnier if they were all in ski masks. I'm just saying.
Something interesting to point out with what he just said, though, is about the facelessness of the mob. That's actually correct.
Right.
Anonymity is an inherent part of mob mentality.
Yes.
Because people are emboldened to do things because they're anonymous. In computer-mediated communication, again, we call this de-individuation. It's the side model. The CMC stuff has been studied for 25 years. So there's no excuse to still be citing 100-year-old research or even to bring up this book to criticize it without understanding the wealth of research upon which it is based.
How much research is there about people cheating when they think no one's looking or that they can get away with it? There's so much there too. Like, yeah, exactly.
I wouldn't even know where to start because of course people do. Research gets into such tiny little things. Like I can only think sometimes the stuff that's most accessible to me is the stuff that I studied primarily as my area of focus, and then also stuff that I've read more recently. For example, there's a ton of research that shows that if people think they're being watched, they're more likely to be helpful.
Yes,
if people think they aren't being watched, they're more likely to be an asshole. That stuff happens. It has been so thoroughly studied throughout, again, every aspect of sociology, social psychology, communication, and so on. It's again, I don't know if it's ignorant or what it is to just ignore this.
No, the mob is just a bunch of nice people getting together to help people, Aiden. They're not worried about getting caught because they're not doing anything wrong.
Well, in middle school, I was indoctrinated by my horrible elite institution, my anti-leftist institution, because we had to watch the indoctrinating film To Kill a Mockingbird.
Oh my God, we had to watch that too.
And when we had that scene where the mob of people comes to go lynch Jim, even though he's innocent, how does young Scout disperse the mob? What does she do? Do you remember, Adam?
She individuates them, right?
Yes.
Am I getting the terminology correct here?
Yes, individuates. Yeah.
She calls out each
Same
individual
thing Brett
person's
Weinstein
name.
did.
Yeah. She calls out each individual person's name and identifies them by name and their job and humanizes them and takes away their anonymity.
You're a person. And also, I know where you work, motherfucker. I'm going to turn you into the police.
It's not even about necessarily, you don't have to go that far. For the most part, everybody does have a sense of morality, right? I mean, we understand this.
Well.
People have a certain set of moral judgments that they adhere to a degree.
Totally, yes.
So
we know what the moral judgments other people are going to hold us to. That's for sure.
But because everyone does have the same moral foundations, therefore people will be prone to being called out. When you do individuate them, they'll start to think about those moral foundations on an individual level instead of more on a group psychology level. Again, group norms are formed automatically and autonomically as the group becomes more salient. And particularly as the group becomes more salient than individual identity. So the more anonymized someone is, the more salient the group identity is.
Yeah. This video triggers the shit out of me. Like
interesting.
You have to completely turn your brain off to make a video like this. I'm baffled by the fact that this video is 47 minutes long. Like, what the hell is going on here?
Someone in the chat says, he just says the last word of each sentence slower and with an air of mystery. It's a thing a lot of the art history presenters do on the BBC.
Oh, is that where he's getting it from?
That's where he's getting it from.
Crazy. How this video I don't think was very popular, so hopefully
We'll
hopefully
see.
it's not clouding a lot of people's judgment.
Particular grievances and the form that they take, from constructive criticism to heartfelt pleading to outright abuse, vary.
Notice how he's got the
Dude,
the nice
there's
white
a-
girl there when it's like constructive criticism. Now when he goes to the online abuse, look what we see.
on this stock footage website, there is a video of a man using a computer, and he gets angry and then pulls out a knife. That's the image you should have used, my dude. And I know
my
it's on this
God.
website. So
Oh my God. I'm just saying he obviously went with a straight white male when he's talking about online abuse.
Wildly. Later in the book,
This video is online abuse. This video was abusing me since yesterday.
Ronson suggests that he has discounted Le Bon's ideas from his analysis of so-called public shaming
Which you should, because it's 100 years old. Smart move, John.
entirely. Nevertheless, as soon as his direct critique of Le Bon is complete, many of the same notions that digital crowds are irrational, that they are intoxicating for
Whoa.
those swept up in them, and that they have an inherent tendency
that's a
towards
very big issue. Did you hear the
destruction.
huge jump that he just made between real life crowds from research 100 years ago to digital crowds while acting like there's no difference?
Yes. Yeah,
I
totally.
didn't because I was reading Discord, but I'll take it.
Discord, what?
Um,
Are you working on your
the-
fan fiction, Sitch? Come on, get back in the game.
People are sending me notifications on Discord. It's bad. I gotta turn it off.
Go ahead, Aiden.
which is very interesting that he made the huge leap from this 120-year-old research into de-individuated computer-mediated communication, which are two completely different areas of study, right?
Hell yeah.
You can't just go from this is how people act in real life to this is how people act on the internet and expect them to be exactly the same. You could expect the same psychological properties to be applied, obviously,
Right.
but it's not necessarily the same thing. So that's an enormous leap he just made without making any kind of acknowledgement of it.
You're saying I
wonder-
can't make a one-to-one comparison between people in the 1800s burning down the Louvre and road rage?
And road rage and internet trolls.
Yeah, being in personal contact with other people has a way different effect than being, a part of an anonymous online mob. Yes. You're
The
way
internet
more
is-
likely to go further in your attacks if you don't see the other person as like a person because they're
Exactly.
behind some
Yep.
screen. Yeah.
Right.
The research calls it the cockpit effect.
Yes.
Because when fighter pilots are choosing whether or not to drop nuclear bombs,
Yeah.
and you can read this about the guy who flew the Enola Gay or whatever. I think it was the Enola Gay. I can't remember what the other one was. The other,
Wow.
plane.
Look, here at Sitch Adam, we denounce hate speech. So
Denounce the Enola
we'd
Gay.
appreciate it if you didn't use the historical names of things if they sound offensive.
Was that when he dropped the bomb, you don't feel anything, and then you come back onto ground and you see the physical suffering, the manifestation of the horrible things that you've done, and it's only then that it hits you.
Yeah.
When you're in the air, you don't see it. When you're online, you don't see it.
True. Very true.
Yep.
he come crawling back. There are two primary reasons for this. For one, Ronson is a pop science writer and is never one to let the facts or even argumentative consistency get in the way of telling a good story.
Notice how he called John Ronson inconsistent there. He's saying
Never
you
let the
can't
facts
trust
get
this
in the way
guy.
to tell a story.
Mm-hmm.
God, I've read all this guy's books, and this guy's my hero. He's attacking my hero here. Well, also he's funny as hell. This guy's hilarious.
Isn't Tom doing what he's accusing
What's that?
him of doing? And it's like, and don't let the facts get in the way of telling a good story. He's bringing up 100-year-old facts to,
Oh,
to
I
tell
know.
a story.
Yes, he's doing the exact same thing. This is also, he points out here that John Ronson contradicts himself, and he's only contradicting himself for humor because it's hilarious, which he does consistently. That's like a John Ronson-ism.
He will often acknowledge that a particular argument is ridiculous before proceeding to make that very argument anyway.
Yes, that's called comedy. It's called comedy. Yes.
Well,
And then
so-
he even points out the example where he does it. That's the funniest example. So
Right.
go ahead, Sitch.
But so far we have his two sources that he's citing is this guy from the 1800s and a guy who writes funny books.
Yeah, who's not even claiming to be like a
A
scientist.
scientist or
Yeah.
that studies this.
Yeah,
like,
pop
academically.
psychologist.
Right.
Yeah.
He in the psychopath test, he read the DSM and he realized that he had like 5 of the illnesses. In the book, he self-diagnosed himself with 5 of them. Yes, he's funny. That's a joke. Ha ha, funny. He writes movies. The what was the movie that you mentioned before? Men Who Stare at Goats.
Yeah.
Guess
Oh,
what?
he wrote that?
Yep.
Yes.
Oh, I had no idea.
The
I
Men
love
Who
that
Stare
movie.
at Goats is it's not a serious movie.
No.
It's called a comedy.
Adam, you're telling me that there isn't really a secret group of Psy warriors running around blowing up clouds with their
Well, that
minds?
part is actually true. That's what's so funny about it. That part is actually true. Yes.
There's one section, So You've Been Publicly Shamed, where he writes that there's an old internet adage that as soon as you compare something to the Nazis, you lose the argument. Maybe the same could be said about the Stasi, the East German secret police force during the Cold War. He then proceeds to spend the next 2 pages comparing people getting angry on Twitter with the Stasi. Yeah,
Oh my
Is he
God.
actually not familiar with Godwin's Law?
Well, no, I think he's familiar with Godwin's Law, but he's saying that that John is dismissing Godwin's Law and then using Godwin's Law. Yes, for comedy. He goes
Yeah.
on for like 2 pages about how like blaming the Nazi or bringing up Nazi references everywhere. It's fucking comedy gold.
Well, I think he's bringing up the irony, I guess, of it.
Yes.
More or less, that everyone compares things to the Nazis, but not to the Stasi.
Look,
Or
I'm
if he does the
contradicting
Stasi.
myself.
Yeah.
It's funny. What an idiot I am. Look at me doing dumb things. Look at me diagnosing myself with 5 illnesses from the DSM. His whole shtick is he's like a nervous Nelly.
Right.
Like he's completely consumed by all kinds of mental illnesses. Like he's upfront about that. It's very contrapoint. You'd like it.
Runt's embrace of the idea of the frenzied mob, even while acknowledging that the evidence for crowds working in this way is shoddy, also points to how ingrained.
Is that true? He acknowledges in the book that there's shoddy evidence.
No,
That sounds fake.
no, yeah. Because he pulls out modern psychologists. He looks at other evidence.
Yeah,
He's not just going. Yeah, go ahead, Aiden.
It just sounds like Tom thinks the evidence is shoddy.
Yeah,
So-
exactly. Yes.
Well, it sounds
John Ronson is not making any kind of admission like that.
It sounds like what he's doing is that there's a part in the book where John is talking about Gustav's theories being, maybe too much in one direction. And then so he brings in the modern theories, as you say, but then Tom kind of characterizes that, he's just showing that it's shoddy, ignoring all the actual modern science backing this stuff up.
John Ronson is an actual fucking journalist, okay? John Ronson doesn't paint a narrative for you to decide. He lays out complex situations that like kick you in the gut, and you don't really know what the right answer is. One of the situations he talks about in the book is some guy who wrote something about Bob Dylan, wrote some book about Bob Dylan, made some shit up in the book, and some other journalist found out about it. And the other journalist was like blowing up as a journalist because he uncovered this huge rich guy's lies. Mm-hmm. And the other journalist started feeling bad about it because he got him canceled, even though the guy was a fucking liar, lied to him, lied to his face, lied to him again and again, and just tried to make the story go away, tried to ruin the guy's life. It's a fucking, the whole cancel culture thing it's complex. It's interesting. This guy just papers over to make his own narrative. It's sad. It's totally sad. Yeah. You should fuck this video. Fuck this guy. Unsubscribe to this guy's Patreon if you're subscribed. Buy the book So You've Been Publicly Shamed. It's amazing. It's amazing. It'll make you think. This guy wants you to shut your fucking brain off. It's completely, it pisses me off. It pisses me off to no end. That's my TED Talk.